So we get plenty of questions over and over and over again as far as starting a business, how to go about it. Some things are very state specific, where you are, what species you're going to work with, things of that sort. And we wanted to be more direct, or I guess deal with the YouTube algorithm a little bit better, where you guys can come, hopefully here to our YouTube page, click on our playlist and find exactly what you need easily, because we have a lot of videos. So as I get into this video, this will end up being part one of probably 4 parts of kind of similar to getting established or getting your business established video. So let's get into it. Hey guys, what's going on? Will here, Flawless Crested Geckos, coming to you guys with another video. And we're gonna dive right in. Starting the reptile business. You guys hopefully have been watching us for a while. We kind of took off running and dove into this whole concept of starting a crested gecko business many years ago at this point. We still are as excited as we were from day one. It's very interesting watching, where you can go with your business. It's also really cool to create really cool animals. So we kind of took to crested geckos in a very kind of weird, indirect way, really by accident, just by taking all the misinformation we received at the beginning from a pet store, and then deep diving on our research journey into crested geckos, morphs, genetics, and things like that. This video is not going to be specifically about crested geckos. We are constantly asked about business startup, and then what it takes. We talk about it a lot as far as on our Patreon. We love our Patreon family. Flawless Fam always comes through. We definitely try to put out a lot of good content over there, and we're going to continue. So I'm going to keep this video hopefully short, concise. We're going to do 4 parts, I believe, of getting this all going. So the first thing I would want to say is, as far as for the aspiring, entrepreneurs and enthusiasts, passion. Your passion is going to be what pulls you through pretty much the dark, moods and thought process, things that may occur. As you guys know, we just got through getting through Hurricane Helene. Things like that happen, mishaps. Sometimes you lose animals, all kinds of things. You lose friends, you lose business partners. There's so many different avenues that you can kind of go down. There is no one size fits all plan for anyone's business plan, which is the gist of this part one, which is going to be research and planning. Okay, so in part one, this is all going to be about research and planning to start your business. Begins with market research. All right, you're going to want to get yourself out there, whether you're at the shows, whether you're online, whatever platforms there may be, and at least gain some experience in what you're seeing out there in that market, whatever field you're in. For this purposes of this video, we're going to talk about crested geckos. So as you're going to shows, as you're selling online, what we did on our side of things was we attended tons of shows. Nobody knew who we were at all. We literally were just buying up gecko after gecko after gecko and trying to, weed our way through the industry to see where we kind of fit. We went out and made a lot of contacts in the earlier years, and it was a blast. We got to meet a lot of good people, and we're still friends with pretty much everyone since day one. There's a certain part of, and it's just an opinion of mine, there's a certain part of adulting that needs to take place in this industry specifically. I always, represent Flawless, Audrey and myself, and we stay true to ourselves. A lot of what you're going to deal with in your networking phase of things is you're going to meet people that you're going to genuinely like and build bonds and friendships. And you're going to come to find out later on that maybe you're now in a weird, triangle, pentagon, whatever it may be, where you have this network of friends where you like everyone. Everyone seems to like you, but then everyone doesn't necessarily like each other. And that's why I say it's, you have to, be an adult about things. So you need to make sure that you set your boundaries very crystal clear. People know where you stand. People know that you're a genuine friend to them and you can assist them whatever way that you're available. But at the same time, you need to stand on what your belief, your characteristics, and your personality, how it may affect others. But let them know, like, look, whatever you have got going on with you, that's your thing. Ain't got nothing to do with us. And you let them figure it out. And once they come to terms with, hey, you know what? You're a genuine friend. I appreciate you for being you. Then you kind of stay out of all the riffraff. So need to kind of put that disclaimer out there because I think that will generally really, really benefit you if you're getting into the crested gecko industry. So you're going to want to identify trends. You're going to want to identify what's popular in your field, what species people are working with, where the direction is going, and how it's trending price-wise as well as popularity-wise. On the research side of things, that will influence your planning as you move forward. The other thing you want to really, really hit on, which is kind of very taboo in a sense, and I love it, is you're going to want to research your customer demographics. And it's interesting because we're seeing a really, really cool kind of transition. Everybody's kind of heard our story where, Audra and myself were very different, but at the same time, we were raised differently in different regions of the states here. And being in the inner city, coming from a black family, it was very taboo to have any reptiles. It was okay for, a dog or a cat, but typically it was very taboo to have reptiles. And I've always, wanted and even had reptiles once I, moved out, 16 and got my own apartment. I was able to actually get my first snake. But for Audra, it was just something where she was kind of just uncomfortable with, but it wasn't necessarily taboo. It was more so accepted during her upbringing. So when I say you're going to want to research your demographic, that does not mean that you're going to exclude anyone from being a potential customer. You just want to know where your marketing and promotional dollars should go when it comes to pushing your business, as well as who is your customer base that's consuming whatever your product may be. In this situation, it's Crested Geckos. So for face value, you cannot assume by someone's appearance, race, gender, whatever it may be, that they aren't a potential customer of yours. Our industry is very unique where almost every single person comes from a different walk of life. So you never really know who's going to be interested in exactly what you're interested in just because they look different or feel different than you. It's actually very cool because it's more of a conversation starter than anything. In this industry and everything that I've seen, even at the shows that we've been, it brings, on the outside looking in from a judgmental eye, it brings people together that you would think would be very unlikely to have conversations. And I love that because now you're crossing those boundaries and I feel like we're gaining progress as a people. That makes sense.
Hey guys, Flawless Crested Geckos here, Will and Audra.
And we're here to tell you guys about our new Patreon tier. Have you guys ever played the lottery, lose, and get all your money back?
That's not really a thing, is it? Oh, but yes it is. With our new tier, the $100 a month, you get every single bit of your money back for the entire year. But guess what? It doesn't end at the end of the year. Right. No, you have rollover. So you can continue to build your savings account as much as you would like.
Right.
But guess what? That's not all.
That's right.
What's the biggest perk?
Are automatically entered for our annual free Azantic giveaway. Visual Xanthic.
A
That's
free
right, guys.
visual Xanthic. Oh my gosh. Who does that?
We do. That's right. So you guys are going to want to go over to patreon.com/flawless crested geckos and check us out.
Join the Flawless family.
That's right. So the other part of market research is another touchy topic, which we really enjoy. Is you're going to want to check out the competition. And the reason I air quote that is because, people say, okay, well, there's no competition. There's different ways to word it. And it, for the most part, means the same thing. All right. Is there competition out there in business? Yes, there's competition. Yes, there's competition out there. But the way we like to look at it is, it's called healthy competition. All right. In this field, there's such a niche. You don't necessarily have to wish that someone is unsuccessful just for your business to be successful. There's so many different lanes and so many things yet to be done in this field that everyone can be successful at the same time. Especially if you're focusing on, improving what you don't do well better. We always go back and forth with Brian. He's our brother, truly. He is family, but he has his own brand, and people, see it quite weird at times where, we support him doing certain things and he supports us doing certain things. To the point of jumping on flights and going here and there. He flew out to our wedding when we got married. We vacationed together, several times. We genuinely have a bond. And it has nothing to do with monetary value. But at the same time, Altitude Exotics revenue goes home to his household. Flawless revenue goes home to our household. So in theory, when you have these individual businesses that's, both thriving, they're still competitors in a sense. We have conversations back and forth on how, we can improve each other. We pick each other's brains. There's nothing really saying, all right, let me keep this top secret so I can keep, a step ahead. So I would like for the industry as a whole to kind of look at things that way. I understand that it is kind of a human trait to automatically kind of be negative in a sense when things aren't, going well for you. But sometimes it's just not your turn yet. And I know that's kind of a hard pill to swallow. I really do. But sometimes, it's one of them things where, I get on Audra nerves all the time. I feel like, I'm that person where you don't want to tell me that something can't be done. Okay, because, I'm going to wake up every morning knowing, what you feel, what you say, and use that as fuel to make sure that I get it done. That's just how I am. That's how I'm built. That's why Audra loves that I'm not in law enforcement anymore. SWAT team, I was this, I was that. At one point, I worked every day for 4 years. Yeah. So there's other underlying circumstances there, finances and things like that at that time that kind of, obviously contributed to that situation. But to stay on track with competition, there is such things out there as healthy competition. The industry needs healthy competition. Unless you have something going on, some type of a conflict, even that can be resolved with conversation. But other than that, just stay on task. There's no reason you should, dislike someone for face value or brand value. Everyone can improve together. Use some of the things that some of your, role model or target brands, I'll say that. Some of your target brands that you like, use some of the things that you observe that they don't do well to perfect those things in your business plan so you can hopefully prevail at that. That way, if you're on par with the things that they do good, then you're right up there. And it's just, like I said, waiting for your turn, just churning away at it until you get your shot at it. This is just a mindset to have. So, went on that a little too long. That's why we broke this thing up into parts. All right. And the other thing you want to do while you're in your research and planning phase is you want to make sure that you define your niche. we were talking about that in the earlier stages of Flawless. We had our entire operation pretty much inside of our home. It was taking over, 2 bedrooms. I mean, it was insane, and we had reached a ceiling at a certain point. If we did not plan for further growth, and had to optimize at that size, then we would have needed to kind of fine tune things. So make sure that you see your direction for growth, but at the same time, you want to make sure that you're perfecting whatever that niche is. It's Crested Geckos for us. So within Crested Geckos, we have empty backs, we have reds, we have high white reds, we have high white extremes. We have all these different things that we are trying to perfect, for us, and keep moving those projects forward. Sometimes you may do a breeding and it may not pan out. We've told that story with Super Dalmatian Lily White. And sometimes you have to back up and punt and say, hey, it didn't work. But whatever you're doing, you need to fine tune your niche so that you're seen as that brand that people want to come to when they're looking for that. There's so many different morphs and genes in Crested Geckos right now. It also leaves a lot of room for people to come through the door and really rise to whatever you perceive as the top. This is not about, hey, we're on top, you're on bottom, whatever. It doesn't matter. But whatever you perceive as being the top, there's room for everyone to be successful at whatever you may do. So to add on to the end of that, it is completely okay to diversify. If, for example, if you're doing Crested Geckos and maybe you want to do lychees, or if you're doing Crested Geckos and maybe you want to do chihuahuas, or maybe you want to do an entire, other species altogether of a reptile, that's perfectly fine as well. What I've seen for us is whatever you want to do, you want to make sure you have the manpower to achieve said goal. If we were not full-time breeders at this point, I do not believe we would have diversified and started an entire other business startup with Flawless Exotic Creations. I do believe we could have, maybe Audra's original story I told her where, hey, we're only going to get 10 snakes. Well, yeah, if we were only going to get 10 snakes, we could have absorbed that under our same Flawless brand and not LLC, Flawless Exotic Creations, and kind of kept it there. Still create some type of growth through the snakes, but very, very small, not scaled to what it is now. And it would have just been a different type of beast, a different type of animal at that point. It would have been a mode of diversification as far as away from everything being consumed in the Crested Geckos and kind of venturing off into, a handful of snakes. So it's perfectly fine to diversify and go to different species, and kind of dabble in that area as well, because you want to be able to offer something else to your customer base, or maybe because something else just sparks your interest. It's perfectly fine. Now what you can do is you can use a primary thing, whatever your primary may be. Crested Geckos at this point, can't talk, and you can kind of use that as the primary business, and now you can do lychees or chihuahuas and get the best of whatever you see as being the best. Focus on it, do it small. You're not worried about producing things that's already, needing revenue to be brought in on. You can literally perfect that as a little pet project of yours until you're ready 2, 3, 4, 5 years, maybe a decade from then, to actually have some that's available for sale. At the same time, the entire time that you were building that up, you were already creating holdbacks and perfecting that behind the scenes of your original brand. So the next part of research and planning is going to be your business plan. So for the business plan, it's very, very simple. You put pen to paper, you draw up an entire business plan, a whole business model. There are business models all over the internet. We use the KISS method, keep it simple, stupid, for us. And we use that and it works like a charm. You want to make sure that you do your, as Audra puts it, your SWOT analysis and everything. And as long as you have all that in line, it's very, very easy for the business planning side. It's very difficult for the execution of the business plan. So that's the major difference there. So guys, I've already made this video way too long. But again, this is part one of probably a 4-part series, I'm assuming. If we can keep it more concise, we will. If we have to add a part, we will. At the end of all of these, or while we're doing them, we're going to actually put them in their own playlist so people can find them easier. You would not believe how many times that we've had, phone conversations, emails back and forth, specifically dealing with business startup and how to get going, how to even put pen to paper and get started. So we want to make it easier on you guys. Again, hit that subscribe button. I don't know what's going on with YouTube algorithm. We've kind of hit this weird space, this little halt. Haven't really gotten very many subscribers added on as of late, but we're going to keep the content rolling. Also, we have more videos coming up on certain projects that's not necessarily the Diamond series, where we're pulling out specific geckos, but more so talking about genotypes, phenotypes, what certain phenotypes we're actually working with here. We have some videos coming up about that. Thanks to Tom over at Geckological. He actually sparked that whole thought process in my brain to get rolling. We have so many things that we're focused on here that are phenotypes and not necessarily, specific genes and things like that. So we'll explain that and the differences. We'll put out some videos on that, as well as, not to forget about Dallas and doing morph videos, where we bring out a few morphs in each video and talk specifically about what their attributes and traits are, and what their expression, high expression, low expression, meh expression, and rock it out that way. But anyway, it's Will, Flawless Crested Geckos, and we will see you will see us again Thursday. Later.